with the USL Championship season winding down. We have one of the best fixtures in recent weeks as Louisville City FC play host to Neil Collins and the Tampa Bay Rowdies in a clash of two of the best in the Eastern Conference. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Meola. Thank you so much for joining us. And tonight's pregame, as always, brought to you by our friends over at Four Roses Bourbon. And Tony, we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference table at the moment. And right now, if you're in spot 1 through 5, you cannot avoid to drop points if you are going to be the Eastern Conference regular season champions. For Lou City, they're just trying to creep up and maybe get a home game in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, a lot of teams looking to finish in that top spot. Red Bull, too, gave all those teams an opportunity last night with that 1-1 draw against Charleston, only picking up 1 point at home. But, boy, look how close that right column is in the Eastern Conference.
And for Louisville City FC, we'll take a look at our Corsair Charities player with the most potential. Corsair Charities showing children their potential instead of their obstacles since 1923. And Napo Masoso has been doing a lot of good things defensively in the middle of the field for John Hackworth, but as of late, he's starting to score some goals.
Yeah, 3 goals on the season total in 17 appearances, but 2 of those came last week. And as you mentioned, he's been doing a lot of that dirty work defensively, but he's finding his form in the final third of the field. That's really good news for Louisville FC.
Yeah, and Louisville City FC, after the fall of Phoenix Rising, you can make the argument, are the hottest team in the league at the moment. 8 matches unbeaten. They have been absolutely scalding. Meanwhile, for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, they've been trading results, but are on the backs of a half-dozen goal performance against the Bethlehem Steel. They're colliding at Slugger when we come back from the break.
It's a simple truth. There is no better place than where you are right now. Celebrate the moment. Feed the wolf.
Hi, welcome to Toyota's
National Clearance Event.
Yes, now's the time to get a great deal on
The last of the 2019s.
Huh, I'm impressed. But the deals will only last until
September 3rd.
What am I thinking now?
Get the greater than ever 2020 Corolla with $1,000 cash back, or a low mileage lease for $169 a month, or lease this sporty and aggressive 2019 Camry for $209 a month.
Save on the last of the 2019s.
Coming today!
Okay, what's up?
Toyota, let's go places.
We are those searching the unlimited, the unrestrained. Those that understand that life is a pursuit. Feed the wolf.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Since 1923, Corsair Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles, so they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support Corsair Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Your first name is free. Last name is dumb.
And now, get a Ford Fusion with 0% financing for 60 months, plus $2,000 cash back.
Freedom.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But Family Allergy and Asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family Allergy and Asthma.
GE Appliances welcomes you on field for tonight's broadcast. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer. And tonight's broadcast features 2 of the Beasts of the East. Louisville City FC, back-to-back champs, a dynasty in the USL Championship. Tampa Bay Rowdies, one of the most storied clubs in U.S. soccer history. We'll take a look at these starting 11s, Tony. And tonight's starting lineups brought to you by UPSJobs.com. For the home side, nothing changes.
Yeah, and for John Hackworth, as you mentioned, no changes to this 4-3-3 that beat the Red Bulls 5-3 on the weekend. Chris Hubbard, 24 years old, 4 clean sheets. Paco Craig and Sean Touch, that's been the preferred center back pairing. Those 3 across the middle include Napo Masoso, 2 goals against the Red Bulls. Ownby flanked by McCabe and Hopino up top.
Yeah, for the visitors in the Tampa Bay Rowdies, you mentioned how they're trading results. They have a few changes, 3 to be exact for Neil Collins' group coming off that 6-1 win.
Yeah, John McCarthy, the 27-year-old, 10 clean sheets, looking for number 11 tonight. Diakite comes back into that back 3 here. Zach Steinberg, Jordan Doherty inserted into that midfield along with Malik Johnson. 3 assists on the weekend U.S. Championship Team of the Week.
Guenzati and Tejada will be doing the dirty work up top for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And let's take a look at our keys to the game, which are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who reminds you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship program. Tony, what are we looking at?
Yeah, for Louisville, execute in the final third of the field. When you have opportunities to score, you've got to take them. And John Hackworth said, win restarts tonight on both ends of the field for the Rowdies. Transition and attack. When Louisville gets forward, can you get behind them and don't concede an early goal away on the road?
John Freeman is our head referee for tonight. Louisville City FC in their purple kits, Tampa Bay Rowdies in their highlighter yellow. The Eastern Conference table that is jam-packed at the moment. Tampa Bay looking to claim first place in the Eastern Conference with New York Red Bulls 2 on a bye week. Louisville City FC trying to get that much closer to perhaps gaining a home match, at least in the quarterfinals, after what was a more than disappointing middle of the season, really an entirety of the summer. But away we go from Slugger. Again, Tyler Terrenzin sitting 2.5 centimeters to my right is none other than U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer in Tony Miola. And talking to John Hackworth, he expects a lot out of this game, but in prepping for it, very different compared to the prep that was for New York Red Bulls 2. A lot of different problems to solve compared to John Wolenek's side, Tony.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And for John Hackworth, he talks about getting wide players high up the field, and they're a possession-style team. For Tampa Bay coming on the road, you see how dangerous they can be. A plus 31 goal differential on the season is amazing.
Ryan Ownby able to gather possession for Louisville City FC. Now McCabe going for the nutmeg. It might fall for him, but McCarthy off of his line. And tonight's first half is brought to you by El Nopal Mexican Cuisine. Be sure to visit any of the 27 Louisville area locations. La Fiesta starts here, proud partner of Lou City FC. And this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Here early on, John McCarthy, Tampa Bay not building out of the back. They're going to go long early, not give Louisville an opportunity to press them up high in the final third of the field.
Louisville City FC coming off of that 5-3 win against New York Red Bulls 2. They gave up the opening goal to Vincent Bezecourt, but the response from John Hackworth's group was absolutely emphatic. An 8-goal thriller between the two sides that have met in the Eastern Conference Final each of the last 3 seasons. And for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, you mentioned them cruising to a 6-1 win over Brendan Burke's Bethlehem Steel. But that was following a couple really strange results for Neil Collins' side. Talk about a 1-1 Atlanta United 2 draw, and then a 1-0 loss on the road against Ottawa, though a lot of Tampa Bay fans would say that it was a bit controversial, the penalty that was given to Wallfall at the end of that game. But a great response from Neil Collins' side as well.
Yeah, they've been very good all year going forward. You're going to have these ebbs and flows throughout the season. The expectation of, trying to do things the way you want to do it, and winning all those games that you think, oh, maybe we shouldn't have lost that one. That's what makes what Phoenix Rising did so incredible. I mean, we saw a 20-game run, not even a draw in there. That's why it's an incredible feat. The expectation of a team, obviously, is to go out all the time and win, but there are moments in the season where you have a lull. Maybe you've got a load of games in a short period of time. The legs get a little bit tired. There's so many different reasons. And every now and then you get some bad luck. You get a call that doesn't go your way. And you drop a game that you don't think you should.
Well, for Louisville City FC in the last 3 months of this season, they really haven't been dropping any games at all. If you go all the way back to 2017, in the last 3 months of the season, August, September, and October, last time I checked, they are 23-5-9, excuse me, in the last 3 months of the season. We asked John Hackworth about that stat, and Tony, as you know, coaches really are into sort of those long-term statistics, but when it comes down to it, this Louisville City side, no matter who the coach is, no matter what year it is, they're always going to just be incredibly experienced, and they know when they get to that point of the season that results matter that much more.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part. That part of the season is what you said, right? You want your team playing well at the end of the season when you get towards the playoffs here, and this Louisville side obviously has been able to do that 2 years in a row, and John Hackworth will want to look for the same thing. This little 8-game unbeaten run is showing them some signs, but he did say that the most important part of it was to shore things up defensively. That was the first thing he worked on to keep himself in games.
Just out of the reach of Louisville City, and it'll go back to Tampa Bay. A little bit of a sloppy start here in the opening 4 minutes or so. And with board-certified allergists serving 16 offices throughout Louisville Metro and Southern Indiana, relief is always nearby at Family Allergy and Asthma, the official weather sponsor of Louisville City. Visit familyallergy.com. 89 degrees, mostly sunny here in Louisville. Slight breeze coming in as well. Free kick in favor of the back-to-back champs.
Good opportunity here for Nile Mccabe, and Louisville get one in the box. Try and make this back three for Tampa Bay work a little bit.
And how about Nile Mccabe's goal against New York Rebels too, that made waves not only throughout the USL Championship social media, but in all forms of social media in the footballing world. Good enough to take home goal of the week in our league. It will be McCabe, and it's over everybody, and a goal kick coming. And the last time that these two sides played, it was a 1-1 draw back at Al Lang, and that was actually before the Lucky M. Kosana and Antoine Opano trade. And it was just a really excellent game, a lot of chances on either side, and John McCarthy was probably the man of the match on either side of the ball, Tony. I know that's going to get you going a little bit, that a goalkeeper steals the show.
Yeah, 7 saves in that performance. He was outstanding.
Opano touches it through, and the offside flag is up. Obi was just a bit too anxious trying to get forward there.
And the timing wasn't perfect. This ball gets to Opano a little bit slowly here. It's played in a bit harder. The timing for Ownby may have been there. I think he was expecting it to get to Opano's feet a little bit quicker. Good coordination by Louisville early.
A match unbeaten streak for Louisville that was really started with a 1-0 win at Charlotte. And that was following that stretch where Louisville were conceding goals left and right. It's about 10 matches or so where they were conceding the first goal, and it was so unlike this Louisville side that we've seen in the past. As Tampa Bay trying to deliver one into the box, but cleared away. Diakite will knock it down. Pressure coming from Rasmussen. Speedy Williams getting up for the header, as is Pat McMahon, who John Hackworth has been wildly impressed with over the past few weeks, and that's allowed Oscar Jimenez to slide over to the left-hand side, and that's why we've seen the resurgence of Oscar Jimenez, who scored that terrific team goal for Louisville against New York Rebels too last time out.
And you mentioned McMahon over the last 8 games. He hadn't played much early in the season, and oftentimes as a manager, you never know what you're going to get when you give someone an opportunity, and John Hackworth has found someone in McMahon that has been rock solid down that right-hand side of the field.
Tejada moving off the ball, trying to give an option, and Hubbard coming off of his line and able to clean it up.
Read by Hubbard, clean hands, coming through a little bit of traffic there. Always want to get an early touch as a goalkeeper.
Omi ends up getting the better of Diakite there physically as the big center back went up for the header, and here comes Tampa Bay on the other side. Malik Johnson just puts it across. Wasn't a bad ball, but Speedy Williams was there. Just the run was being made towards the back post.
5 midfielders here for Tampa Bay. Malik Johnson, he'll find himself in that area of the field quite often. Paid off last week with 3 assists.
He and Napa Masoso were both on the field. We're on the team of the week for week number 29 in the USL Championship.
A little deeper line here from Louisville. Sometimes you expect the home side to press a bit higher up the field, but just trying to crowd the midfield, especially with 5. And John Hackworth talked about some of the changes and the differences between this Tampa side and the Red Bull side that they played in their last meeting. Red Bull's obviously going to come with a press all the time. With 5 midfielders here, you really got to clog lanes and not allow entry passes if you're Louisville for Tampa to be able to turn and face goal.
Sean Tosh mistimed the bounce, and Tejada coming in on the other end, brushes off a tackle, and Tosh able to make up for it. Really good defensive play after almost giving up the opportunity to Tejada, who doesn't need any help going forward.
Yeah, a little bit awkward on that bounce ball over both players' heads. And Tosh, as you mentioned, a good recovery. He did get on the wrong side of Tejada for just a split second, which is dangerous for defenders, but he eventually makes a good play in the end.
Don't be left out of the brand new Lynn Family Stadium. Season tickets are now officially on sale for everyone, and over 5,000 have already been sold. Go to LouCity.com or call 502-LOU-CITY to learn more. Malik Johnson on top of the corner. In swinger. It's a good ball in. Steinberger was there, but so was Tosh. And it looks like the call is going to be a goal kick, although that clearly looked like it came off of Tosh.
I think we're looking at a foul.
Is it a foul?
Towards the middle, on top of the 6-yard box here. We'll have a look here, but clearly Sean Tosh heads this one out here.
Caught Tejada hanging on to Nile Mccabe, maybe. Well won by Tampa Bay. Johnson just trying to knock it into the area.
These are moments here in the game. Paco Craig tries to play one long, but with 5 in the midfield for Tampa, you've got to try and establish some movement, maybe to pull somebody out of a space if you're Louisville and find a through ball into the midfield. Neil Collins has this team lined up right, playing this 3-5-2 with all those big center backs. Makes it difficult when you play balls long if you're the opposition.
Oh, it's in. It takes a deflection. And getting forward for the Rowdies was Leo Fernandez, 27-year-old from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Eventually moved to Babylon, New York. And there is a look at John Hackworth in his first full season with the back-to-back champs. Happy camper.
Yeah, not happy with something that the assistant referee didn't see. We've called now Malik Johnson and now Leo Fernandez, who had 2 assists in that win over Bethlehem Steel. We've called them now for 2 or 3 crosses already in the game down the byline.
Towards the near post, and it was actually Pat McMahon who gets a solid piece of it, but he came up limping after the play. He might have rolled an ankle, or he's grabbing onto that left leg here.
Tarek Murad was the target there, and he was wide open in front of McMahon, and you saw him kind of scratch his head a little bit, wondering how he missed that one to flick it on.
Sent back in, but easy enough for Hubbard. Notre Dame product, originally from Louisville. And McMahon, we mentioned before, coming up lame after that challenge, right behind Tarek Murad.
He looks to be in a little bit of trouble here.
He has been so important to this Louisville side and really getting Oscar Jimenez back to a place that allows Louisville to be as dangerous as they have been. And if Pat McMahon were not able to continue, it would certainly shake things up for John Hackworth.
Here's that ball played in. Kind of just lands awkwardly after the header and can't slow himself down before he gets to the sign. Hopefully it's nothing too serious here.
The veteran, 32 years of age, from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Spent a couple of years at FC Cincinnati. And is doing a lot to help out this Louisville side. Sure things up defensively, as Tony mentioned a few minutes ago. We'll see if he'll be able to continue. Obviously, sort of the last thing you want to have to deal with as a manager in the opening 13 minutes of a game of a fixture like this is potentially having to bring out a substitute.
You always, as a manager, you kind of cringe, right, when a player goes and it's a non-contact thing. You're always sitting on that sideline thinking the worst, and eventually have to decide if you're going to make a move here. But he's at least up and walking. We haven't seen yet the sign, that universal sign for a substitution. So hopefully that's a good sign for Louisville here, but we may have gotten it in the earpiece here.
Looks like it is going to be Sean Francis. And you would expect Francis to move over to the left-hand side and push Oscar Jimenez over to the right.
It's too bad for McMahon. He's been, as we talked about, so important for John Hackworth in this Louisville City side.
Well, the bad news is that Pat McMahon is going to have to take a seat. The good news is for John Hackworth, when you have a roster as deep as this one, not necessarily substituting the caliber all that much. It's just a matter of, you know, Tony, it can be so difficult, I would imagine, for a player to go into a game, especially along the back line, think you're going to be playing next to one guy and then having to sort of shift that mentality, playing next to somebody completely different. But Sean Francis obviously has just a ton of experience under his belt.
Yeah, an MLS veteran. He's been at Columbus, Chicago, San Jose, Montreal, and as you mentioned, he does have some experience. They are changing the formation, if you will, not tactically, but as you mentioned, the personnel changes a bit. It shouldn't be too difficult. My guess is that John Hackworth worked on some changes during the week.
And that substitution brought to you by MHS Global. Above and beyond. Tampa Bay threatening here along the byline. Takes a deflection. Juan Tejada was trying to get there. A player down for Tampa Bay now. And Louisville will try to keep it in play out of pressure. Difficult to tell exactly who it was for Tampa Bay that was behind the play. Brian Omi, meanwhile, on the other end.
It's the first bit of sustained here possession for Louisville. This is kind of the rhythm that they want to play in.
Soso will go negative for Speedy Williams. Switch the point of attack for Jimenez, who's gone over to the right-hand side now. Jimenez with just loads of space, elects to go for goal. Never really going to threaten the keeper of John McCarthy's caliber, as this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Republic Bank.
Tough for that shot to get through. A lot of yellow jerseys in the box. Dropped pretty deep. Good possession after the shot that was played out. They win possession once again. Now they're back in the final third with an opportunity here for Ownby.
Ownby just with a casual little turn, and McCarthy was stuck in the mud there, but probably knew where he was the entire time.
Well, this is a good job here by Louisville. They find some space in between the two center backs on the left-hand side of the field. Simple ball played over the top. They find the opening. That one bounces up. Ownby controls it. Diakite not tight enough, allowing Ownby to get a shot.
Speedy Williams up for the header. Opano couldn't quite control it. Quadro Poku displaying some good strength in the middle of the park. Zani can't bring it down, bothered by Tosh, and it will be a goal kick.
A nice job here by Tosh, just shielding Wenzadi. Very direct early on here from Tampa.
Poku trying to dribble his way out of pressure. Challenge fell right to Diakite. It's Malik Johnson. Gonna run right at Sean Francis, who's freshly into the game. Johnson around the first defender, lets the shot go, but blocked in front by Paco Craig. It had a lot of sting behind it.
Malik Johnson's been really active down this right-hand side of the field. And again, these moments in the midfield in transition, Tampa keeps winning the ball right back, getting back on offense.
You're seeing that five in the middle of the field for Tampa Bay suffocate Louisville at times. Tony, is there a quick fix for that?
Can you stretch it a little bit? We saw the one ball over the top to Ownby where he's able to turn. Even if he holds that ball, you get other players into the attack. That's one way to stretch that midfield. When it gets this condensed with all those midfielders, as we mentioned, 5 of them.
Johnson again looking dangerous towards the byline. Johnson peels it back across, and Oscar Jimenez is there to clear it away, but Malik Johnson has a really good finger on the pulse of this game.
And cleared away, but again, a ball won by Tampa Bay here. Louisville's going to have to do a better job on these clearances, winning second balls. Nicely done here by Tampa Bay so far early in this one. There's only been one or two, again, sustained possessions for Louisville, and they're a possession team. So they have to figure out that 5 in the midfield.
Paco Craig wanted Hubbard to come off of his line, and he's not happy with his keeper. Gets it away for Francis, who has Tejada closing him down rather nonchalantly, and won't be trying to hold it up. Opino failed in his efforts too, as Diakite comes away with it. Ball intended for Tejada, and Paco Craig stationed exactly where he's supposed to be. But a poor giveaway from Louisville, and it's new life again for Tampa Bay. Delivery in, Paco Craig is there. This has been rather uncharacteristic for the back-to-back champs.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay, their repress has been excellent so far, 20 minutes into this one.
Poku. Moron. Over for Johnson again. Likes his chances against Sean Francis. Last touch coming off the Jamaican, and a corner coming up.
It started at midfield. Tarek Morad, as you mentioned, far too easy to get around Opino. Ended up with Francis, who may see some kind of shift to this right-hand side. Help Francis, who just came into the game, deal with Malik Johnson.
Fernandez on top of the corner. And defending for Louisville. At the near post, couple of flashing runs being made.
Good ball played in. Once again, Tampa wins it back.
Go back from where the corner came. Nick Johnson with an outstretched foot can't keep it in play, and the Coopers give him a little flack for his efforts. Overlap between these two sides. Think of Tarek Moran and what he was able to give to Louisville City FC in 2017 for their first championship. Started every single game with a postseason. On the ball now and going in negative fashion. You think about the trade that was made at the end of June. Antoine Opino straight up for Loki Mkosana. Two sides that have had a lot of success in the second division of American soccer. Could this be a prelude to perhaps a postseason meeting? Only time will tell. Mentioned how New York Rebels 2 on a bye week, currently sitting on 31 games played. 31st for Tampa Bay on the night, 30th for Louisville. Louisville right now chasing the likes of Nashville and Pittsburgh, and really in doing that, you're also chasing Tampa Bay, Indy 11, and New York Rebels 2. Because it is so tight at the top of the Eastern Conference, and on the other side in the Western Conference, more tightly knit towards the bottom of the table, seeds 4 through 13, not separated by a whole lot.
It's a fun couple of weeks coming up in both conferences here. It's going to be exciting to watch. See here now, twice Louisville playing balls long over the top, and I think that plays into the hands of Tampa, especially with Diakite in the back. Morad all good in the air. We only got Ombi to battle with those center backs. You're gonna have to be really, really efficient on those knockdowns.
Opino with a positive first touch, but a bit too positive. That runs out of play right in front of Neil Collins in the Tampa Bay technical area.
Think of the two managers right now. For Neil Collins, you're the happier of the two. This team has been in the final third. They've been able to get to midfield fairly easy. They haven't taken any chances trying to play through lanes that look like they're there, but maybe get picked off. When they had to go over the top, they have. After John Hackworth, can you get the Hopinos involved in the game? See Ombi going 1v1 in an area of the field where you'd like to see some other Louisville jerseys around the ball.
It just seems like if Brian Ownby can hold up the ball and connect that first pass, then it'll open up just prime real estate for Louisville. But
yeah, and that's the key. He's got to hold it up, get other players involved.
it's difficult when you got Pape Diakite on your back, though.
And you've got cover and nobody else as well.
For Malik Johnson again. Sean Francis backed up. That was actually really clever because Johnson was getting ready to flick it over him.
That's a good ball played in here.
And it is Brian Ownby running right at Diakite. Has a beat for pace. Ownby with a curling effort, but it's straight at McCarthy. By far the best chance of the night so far for Louisville.
Well, you get a pretty good look here. When you can find lanes to play through those 5 in the midfield when the ball turns over, this is exactly what Louisville did here. It's a good ball played in here. Craig threads the needle there, and then Ownby does the work here. But the reason he can go now at Diakite is because he has runners both right and left. Now the other 2 center backs have to respect those runners. So that picture is a little bit different than the dribbling we saw from Ownby down the left-hand side of the field about a minute ago.
John Hackworth in the ear, the 4th official. And that has been the case more or less since the opening whistle.
And seeing that Ownby opportunity, Tyler, from behind, that was a pretty good looking goal right there.
Fernandez putting the moves on Jimenez, gets the cross away. Tejada with Jean Tosh on his back. Tejada 10 goals on the year so far. 2nd in the team. Just behind Guenzati, who has 16 as Hubbard comes flying off of his line and actually makes a really good play in some traffic.
This is very well done here by Chris Hubbard. Good timing, good footwork, got through traffic, got up above everybody. This ball is bending away from him as well. It's only about 6 yards from the end line when that's crossed, and you see there, get through some traffic, deal with it. That'll give your defender some confidence.
Now McCabe surveying the field. Fizzes one across for Antoine Openo. 1v1 situation here. Openo tries to get it on his left. Now here comes the double team, and that's well done for Malik Johnson.
Initially by Morad there, and Malik Johnson coming down and double teaming. Louisville, you get the sense that they're growing into the game here a little bit.
Well, John Hackworth did tell us that it was very much going to be a chess match between these 2 technically and tactically sound teams, and we're seeing that play out.
Well, sometimes it takes your team just a minute to get into the game and figure out what the opposition is doing. See here, Morad just a bit anxious here, and Openo, he did have him facing his own goal.
Some other games going on around the Eastern Conference. Charlotte and Hartford 0-0 in the 25th minute. Games of the playoff implication variety. Ottawa Fury with a 1-0 lead over North Carolina FC. Thiago with the lone goal in the 4th minute. Pittsburgh and Indy 11 0-0 at the moment, and you can expect that that'll most likely stay the same throughout the course of the match, but we shall see. Rasmussen trying to thread one through. Morad was stationed perfectly, makes the play and able to play out. That's exactly what you would like from one of your 3 center backs, but the header comes back in. Sean Francis straight to the feet of Diakite. John Freeman doesn't see anything in that. And Poku skipping away from Napa Masoso. Ball stuck underneath his feet, and now is just going to shield off Masoso and go quickly from the restart.
Tough when Poku gets you on his back, and I think you're going to run over him here as Malik Johnson. Boy, he's been a terror down this right-hand side of the field, whether it's been crosses. This time he decides to go central, looking for some combination play, maybe with Guenzati in front of him. Francis now gets on the wrong side, gets his arms up, and dangerous free kick here.
Malik Johnson, a Toronto native, came up through the Toronto Academy as well as the senior team and played for TFC2 as well. And they were in the championship. The Canadian youth side, 17s and 20s. Very talented winger.
Steinberger for the outswinger back behind this line of purple jerseys. You got Leo Fernandez, maybe a look at goal, or at least an in-swinger.
Fernandez all the way towards the back post. Louisville win the first one. Diakite Sends that somewhere near the Coopers.
It's probably not the guy at the top of the box you want on his left foot. You want him making runs in the box and trying to get on the end of a cross. He does end up there, and it bounces up a bit high, and he can't steer it on frame.
First header won by Louisville, but second cleaned up by Diakite. Morat did well to find Johnson. Again, just blazes past Sean Francis. Francis desperately trying to keep up with the 21-year-old. Johnson into the middle. And a good play by Speedy Williams, who recovered. And Johnson, just as quick as he got forward, retreats to go get the ball. And now a yellow card is going to be issued to Napa Masoso here. Malik Johnson writhing around in pain, but our first mustard of the evening. And it's shown to Masoso.
Boy, Malik Johnson has done it on both sides of the field now. He's been double teaming down in his own 18-yard box. He's been down this right-hand side. He gets across in the box, it gets cleared. Then he makes a recovery run here and draws a foul and a yellow card from Masoso. Here's the recovery after the cross, and Masoso a little bit high with that one. Good call by the referee here, but Malik Johnson has been excellent so far, both ends of the ball.
Played just about a half an hour. One really solid chance to Louisville City, but you could probably say that the game has been won thus far by Tampa Bay. They've been the aggressors.
I thought numerically here, Tampa would have thrown a few more players forward. Now Poku is now getting into the box here. All 11 players for Louisville behind the 18.
Will be Fernandez keeps it on the ground. And easy enough for Hubbard in the end. And this portion of tonight's broadcast brought to you by Sullivan University.
Easy bounce up there for Hubbard. It's in an AstroTurf part of the field. And easy for a goalkeeper. Clean bounce.
Francis sends it in the direction of Openo. Couldn't hang on to it. And Tosh wisely nods it back for Hubbard again.
And one thing that comes to mind here, if you're Tampa, you really haven't called Steinberger's name throughout this game. You haven't called Doherty's name throughout this game because they're skipping the midfield here. Now, as the game stretches out, can Tampa get those players involved in the game, maybe to open up another lane, another angle, another rhythm of play for Tampa?
He challenges the header, but won by Tampa Bay. Misjudged by Tosh again. But Louisville will clean it up. Masoso. Great football here from Louisville. And Masoso couldn't get the touch to it and ends up committing a foul as well. He does need to be careful. Recent recipient of a yellow card.
Not happy with this call here. This ball kind of bounces around the midfield, and there's not a lot in it other than one player going down. There's two players getting after a ball that neither of them had control of.
Back for Jimenez. Tampa Bay just trying to set up defensively here. More than happy to let Louisville knock it around their own back line. Let's see how compact it is with all those yellow jerseys in the middle of the park. Louisville trying to stretch them again. Intended for Openo. And Tarek Morad. Easy enough to go back for McCarthy.
Yeah, that's not the type of ball that Louisville is going to have much success with tonight.
Openo, really clever first touch around Morad. And now it's Tampa Bay's defender. And Tarek Murad is going to receive a yellow card.
I thought the referee here for a minute was going to let this one go to see where this play ended up. Murad clearly, you'll see here, grab a hold of Hopeno's shirt as he turned him here. Great first touch here by Hopeno. And there you see the jersey tug with the left hand. And as there were runners coming forward, I thought he was going to let this play just a second, but calls the foul, dishes out the yellow card to Murad.
Yellow card brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon. Fernandez and McCabe on top of it. It'll be Jimenez with the left foot, teasing delivery and nodded straight down, and it's in for Louisville! And it's Paco Craig unmarked, unmanned, and punishes Tampa Bay. 1-0 lead for the back-to-back champs.
Well, Tyler, we talked about it in our keys to the game. Restarts on both ends of things. That's what John Hackworth wanted from this Louisville side. We've seen this step over 2 or 3 times now to sort of throw off the back line here for Tampa Bay. They drop. There was someone in an advanced position, but in the end, as you mentioned, this ball ends up on the head of Paco Craig. Good ball served in. He finds a pocket of space, heads it down, and into the back of the net. McCarthy got a touch to it with his left hand. Nothing he could really do about it, putting Louisville up 1-0.
And that goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery, Paco Craig with an emphatic header. And Lou City fans this season, First Financial Bank will support the Lou City and the community by donating $500 to the Boys and Girls Club of Kentuckiana each time Louisville City scores the first goal. That goal scored by Paco Craig was tonight's first goal. Thank you to First Financial Bank for their support of Louisville City and our community. And here comes Antoine Hopeno, tripped up from behind, and that might be a yellow card as well, and indeed it is for Jordan Doherty. And some frustration coming to the surface for Neil Collins' group.
Yeah, you're starting to see Louisville now. They're energized after that goal. They're finding these little pockets of space, as we talked about, these through balls. This one, Hopeno finds that space, decides to dribble through. They're already just a bit lazy there. Fouls Hopeno from behind. Easy yellow card for the referee. I think we can sort of feel the momentum now shifting in Louisville's favor.
Yellow card brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon. When these two sides met at Al Lang earlier in the year, it was Tampa Bay, the home side, over in St. Pete, that was the aggressor and was putting Louisville under a tremendous amount of pressure. And then it was late on in the game that Louisville really started to battle back and ended up getting the equalizer from Abdou Jam. It's sort of flipped the script now with Louisville at home right before halftime, putting the pressure on Tampa Bay, a group that has been rather inconsistent over the past 5 games.
From these distances, these run-ups, you get the sense they're going for goal.
Will be Nile Mccabe. He's done it before. Can he do it again? Always rising over the bar.
He didn't get the dip that he wanted on this one. Trying to strike right through the middle of it. You saw from that run-up, hits it pretty well. You see a bit of a knuckle on it there, but just too much spin. Never has that downward motion.
Down beautifully by Jimenez. McCabe. Homeby checking extremely deep to come receive the ball and ends up getting his wires crossed with Speedy Williams. Here comes Tampa Bay on the other end. Poku gets it on his left, still going. Great little move, still Poku. And he knows he should have pulled the trigger. Probably one too many feints. A corner kick coming up for Tampa Bay, but Quadwo Poku putting a couple of defenders on skates.
Yeah, Poku here, he thought he was going to shoot here with his left foot. Maybe should have. Point, he cuts everyone in the box, and it's eventually Toshu comes back and recovers, but he did have runners in the box. He also had a cutback if he wanted it. Another good opportunity for Tampa Bay here. Another good bit of team defending for Louisville.
Tampa Bay looking for an equalizer before the halftime whistle. Malik Johnson on top of the corner. All the way towards the back post. Hubbard got a piece to it, and it was an important piece. There was a trailing run being made by Sebastian Guenzatti. And he does well to win another corner for Tampa.
Nice job by Hubbard here. As a goalkeeper, when you're going back, you want to just keep playing it in that direction. And oftentimes it only takes a fingertip. As you know, someone in the back post is going up for a head ball and timing the initial ball being played in. Hubbard doesn't try to do too much with it, just keeps it going in that direction.
Another chance from the set piece for the visitors. Fernandez, another great ball in. It's awkward along the back line for Louisville. Tampa Bay were shouting for a handball.
So the referee there, John Freeman, look over to his assistant referee as he was running up the field to see if maybe the assistant referee had seen something differently.
Johnson gets bottled up and fouled. And this is the penalty shout Tampa was looking for.
Yeah, I don't know you call much in there. Did it hit the defender's arm? Maybe it did, but it's close to his body. It's in the silhouette. But of course, these days, Tyler, who knows what a handball is anymore?
I certainly don't. You never had to worry about that. You were just always allowed to use your hands. Malik Johnson trying to get around Hopono this time, who actually did a very good job staying with the winger, who you could argue has been one of the more dangerous attacking players for either side tonight.
And as that ball was played down the right-hand side of the field, Soso was in the middle of the field, and he had a hold of Zach Steinberger. Looked like he was going to clear some space, got his arms around him. Steinberger continued to run. Referee didn't see it or maybe say anything about it. Soso's going to have to be careful.
Johnson, piercing ball through for Poku, gets clipped, elects to stay on his feet, keeps it in play. All the way towards the back post. Good defensive play made by Nile Mccabe. Only as far as Caleb Richards, though. Leo Fernandez sizing up McCabe. Towards the byline, creates a little bit of breathing room, takes a deflection. Hubbard off of his line. Tejada now. And Rasmussen with a cool head.
That entire first play there started with a through ball played by Malik Johnson to Poku. And Malik Johnson's having some night.
Rasmussen rolls it along for Opano. Omi wanted it at his feet. Francis lets it run through. Elects to go for goal. Almost took a fan's head off in the process.
You see Ombi at the top of the box there, talking to Opano maybe about a combination here, but it ends up as it comes out here. Good ball played in. Francis touches it around Malik Johnson and has a look at goal. Good recovery. You saw a lot of yellow jerseys in the box there for Tampa Bay.
Knocking on the door of halftime, Paco Craig with the lone goal in this one. And it puts Louisville on 53 points. 3 off of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who are currently in a 0-0 draw with Indy 11 on the Monongahela. That game is running parallel with this one. Craig's goal coming in the 35th minute.
McCarthy got taken out there. That's what this bench is unhappy about.
Foul called in favor of Louisville. You can see they're still not happy making their way back to the bench.
Stuart Dobson, the goalkeeper coach there, probably not happy to see his goalkeeper getting taken out after the ball's played 70 yards up the field.
Ball from Paco Craig. Craig, just his second goal this season. Not exactly a prolific goal scorer, but you stand at about 6'4", 6'5", you're always going to be a threat on set pieces, and he knows what to do with it when he's given the opportunity.
And oftentimes you're the guy marked by the best defensive header when you're that big, and now you're opening up space for somebody else. So that's a measurable in the game that you don't really see numbers for, but managers see that when they line players up and put them in different positions on attacking restarts.
Bit of a collision. Speedy Williams taking the easy way out. Louisville would be happy to get to the dressing room 1-0 up. Tampa Bay Rowdies, even though they have been on the front foot, trailing. Stoppage time presented by Sullivan University. Fourth official has had it on 2 minutes here in the first half. Louisville just continue to prove to be juggernauts in the final third of the season. As that's a rough challenge in the middle of the field that catches Napa Masoso, and the yellow card issued to Sebastian Guinzotti for his challenge from behind.
There's a ball given away by Guinzotti here. He tries to recover as this ball's being played through. Guinzotti comes back and catches Masoso here. A bit of frustration for Sebastian Guinzotti. He gets 16 goals on the season. You're used to having service. He hasn't had much of it in this first half.
Rasmussen. Knocks it off of Johnson. Openo somehow finagles his way out of a double team. Now cuts towards the byline. Openo in for Obi, got a touch to it. And the pass was well off the mark. It was even a miracle that Brian Obi got a touch to it.
Yeah, great job by Openo going down this left-hand side of the field. He cuts in between two defenders here, gets a look at goal. It seemed harmless here as two defenders, and good little cut here, and then a second one. Get by Doherty, and then this ball needs to be played on the ground, and you're right. It's amazing Ombi even got a piece of it to steer it on frame.
And that's going to do it for the first half. Louisville City FC with a 1-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Paco Craig in the 35th minute with his second goal of the season. Tampa Bay lost him on a set piece. They pay the price. Tony Meola, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I think take out the goal and manager Neil Collins is the happier of the two. But going into this dressing room, no doubt John Hackworth will be happy with the result, but not necessarily happy with the way his team played and the rhythm of the game for a possession team.
Well, we were always told that this is going to be a chess match between these two terrific sides. Tampa Bay Rowdies fighting for their top of the table lives. Meanwhile, for Louisville City FC, they've just been red hot, and this game is no different. They head into the dressing room with a 1-0 lead over the Rowdies. We're headed to the halftime report. Stay with us.
Toyota's national clearance event is on. It's time to save on the last of the 2019s. Congratulations. Congrats.
Lease an adventurous new 2019 RAV4 for $199 a month, or choose $1,250 finance cash, or get $3,000 cash back on the built-in the USA Highlander.
How long should we do this?
Well, the event doesn't end until September 3rd.
Toyota, let's go places.
Toyota's last chance clearance. Take one.
It's the Toyota Last Chance Clearance, where you can get a clearance deal on a Camry with 2.9. Correction, where you can get 1.9 financing for 60 months on a sporty new 2019 Camry. Or cut a deal on a new Camry with $1,750 cash back. Or a low mileage lease for $219 a month. With a 2-year no-cost maintenance plan standard. Hurry to the Toyota Last Chance Clearance, where the cost of buying a new Toyota has been cut. Now through September 30th. Toyota, let's go places.
I trust you are enjoying yourself, my sweet.
Magnificent party, darling. How do you pull it off?
The usual, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome, Chad. Beautiful. I have the best people. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers.
If you're looking for a winning team, look no further than Big O Tires. Whether it's big, aggressive tires, fast precision tires, or tires for any condition, we have the lineup to beat any competition. With no credit check needed financing available, we'll get you into the game with the lowest prices on every kind of tire every day. And multiple lending partners means our financing will always put you on the winning side. With credit options made easy, take advantage of our good to no credit financing only at Big O Tires.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now during Truck Month, get $10,000 in total savings on a new F-150. America's best-selling truck 42 years straight.
Tonight's halftime report brought to you by Game On Mouth Guards. And here in Louisville, it is the home side with a 1-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Paco Craig with the game winner. It's time for a check-in with the Lynn Family Stadium, which is set to open in 2020 in Butchertown. And Tony, a big, big day, throwing down some sod.
Boy, it looks pretty, doesn't it, here in Louisville? And you talk about progress for the league. You talk about progress for individual teams. Well, you're looking at progress right here. Look at this beautiful stadium that we're going to see in the second division of soccer in this country. And 20 years ago, you wouldn't have dreamed about these things, but boy, have they done an incredible job here in Louisville.
Already 5,000 season tickets sold for 2020. Get in line, because I have a feeling it's going to be a hot commodity in Louisville at the moment. Paco Craig's goal, a hot commodity. It's a delicacy, in fact. 1-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We'll be back in a moment, but first, let's check in with the championship in League One.
He's a winner, in for the goal!
Let's go with the left point, Jamal Johnson!
What a goal!
Perfectly placed!
Splice this New York defense with a curling effort. That's incredible. What a goal by Nile. Johnson, though, going to hurry things up. Tenorio giving a blast. Goal!
Clever will take a shot. He fires it home for a classic.
Cicerone to the back post. Sliding it in. What a start for St. Louis. Tyler Blackwood.
Wharton and Espria in it as well. Williamson strikes and puts it in, a fourth for T2 on a beautiful strike.
Asante saved by Cochran.
And a save by Morton. Through and a diving stop.
Punched away by Laurel. Follow. Kick save Laurel. And this. It's a hammer. Oh, that's an important intervention by Logan Ketterer.
On, Klaus fires, and back of the net. Paul Klaus. Final here. Ball swept in. Headed on, up and in, and just like that, Toronto answers.
Ball played forward up the side. Moon trying to drop it back. Tries the left-footed shot and finds the back of the net. Nick Moon in stoppage time in the first half, breaking the deadlock.
Rayo now. For Rodriguez, going for that top corner. What a save by Silvestre. Through the midfield for Richmond. Calls for Wheeler Avenue, and a shot saved by Fitzgerald. Still around the box for Chattanooga. The shot by Caparelli's pushed aside by Herrera. Austin Amer.
Awesome stuff from League One and the championship as we're moving right through the halftime report, which is brought to you by Game On Mouthguards. Tyler Terrence along with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tony Meola. And it's Paco Craig's goal in the 35th minute, which is the difference between Louisville and Tampa. But we'll take a look at some news and notes from around the championship. And Tony, a lot going on as we're heading down the business portion end of the 2019 campaign. But a lot to look forward to for the Colorado Springs Switchbacks as Alan Koch will make his way back into the USL Championship. We have a number of teams that are qualifying for the postseason already and a big Wednesday night soccer fixture. But Alan Koch, I mean, I don't know if that's particularly expected, but definitely a big pickup for Colorado.
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise that Alan Koch went to Colorado, but they got a guy that's experienced in this league, experienced building things in this league, has had some success in this league, so it's a pretty good hire here by Colorado.
Well, we'll take a look at some scores from around the league, and they're brought to you by Commonwealth Credit Union, and a number of really big matches that are going on at the moment. We already had one completed last night. It was a thriller. Charleston Battery found a late equalizer against New York Red Bulls 2. Ottawa Fury with a 1-0 lead over NCFC thanks to a goal from Thiago in the 4th minute. We already told you Pittsburgh and Indy 11. Book it. It will be a 0-0 draw between Bob Lilly and Martin Rennie. That's just the way that those two sides play. And Nashville with a 1-0 lead over Loudoun in Leesburg, Virginia. Probably can expect that as well. St. Louis will go off against Atlanta United 2, and we'll take a look at some updated Eastern Conference standings. And Tony, we already talked about ad nauseum just how awesome it is at the top of the table, and Louisville right now are starting to throw their name right into the hat if this result is to hold.
Well, we talked about it in the open. You want your team to be playing well at the end of the season. That's what's happening here with Louisville. Now, they still got some work to do in this second half, but look how close it is from 1 to 6. It's incredible.
Ottawa Fury with a big 3 points if they're able to fend off their opponent at the moment. North Carolina FC, St. Louis, and Birmingham right now slotted into that play-in round in the USL Championship. When we come back, stats and highlights from the first half. Don't go anywhere.
Heading to Toyota's National Clearance Event. We got great deals for all our friends. Better get here before the end of the song. The last of the 2019s won't last long.
$750 bonus cash on new 4Runners and Tacomas ends September 3rd. One last chance to get $1,250 total cash back on the legendary 4Runner or $1,750 back on the rugged Tacoma. Don't miss it.
Save on the last of the 2019s.
Toyota, let's go places.
Isn't it time to finally do something about your allergies? Rush allergy shots at Family Allergy and Asthma can begin to work in as little as 1 day, so you can find permanent relief faster than ever. Don't wait to feel better. Family Allergy and Asthma.
Toyota's last chance clearance. Take one.
It's the Toyota Last Chance Clearance, where you can get a clearance lease on a Corolla for $169. Correction, where you can get a low mileage lease on the all-new greater than ever Corolla for $159 a month. Or cut a deal on a new Corolla with $1,000 cash back. With the most advanced safety features and a 2-year no-cost maintenance plan standard. Hurry to the Toyota Last Chance Clearance, where the cost of buying a new Toyota has been cut. Now through September 30th. Toyota, let's go places.
Since 1923, COSAIR Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles. So they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support COSAIR Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
I trust you are enjoying yourself, my sweet.
Magnificent party, darling. How do you pull it off?
The usual, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome, Chad. Beautiful. I have the best people. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers.
There's a reason everyone around here complains about allergies. They're bad. But family allergy and asthma can build up your immunity to what makes you miserable, ending your suffering for good. No more symptoms means no more complaining. Family allergy and asthma.
Almost ready for the second half here at Slugger. Hope you had an opportunity to grab a snack, grab a beverage, whatever your fancy may be. And Louisville City FC fancying themselves at the moment. A 1-0 lead thanks to Paco Craig. We'll take a look at how it all went down in the first 45 minutes. Again, Tyler Terrence along with Tony Miola. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're just joining us, we'll help you out a little bit. And Tony, it most certainly was a chess match in the opening moments, but this was the first real moment for Louisville City.
Yeah, it was a great ball played in by Paco Craig. Eliminated the 5 midfielders for Tampa Bay. Then Ombi does the rest here. Has a pretty good look at goal. McCarthy with an easy save. Tampa Bay here gets a ball swung out wide. Leo Hernandez in the box. Very nice job here by Chris Hubbard. Coming through some traffic here. Get a pretty good look here. It's Paco Craig. Some Tampa Bay attacking players. And then the goal here. One feint and a ball played into the back post. Paco Craig on the end of this one. It was that feint on the first run here by McCabe. Defense drops, balls played in by Jimenez. Ends up in the back of the net here, making it 1-0 for Louisville. John Hackworth talked about being good on restarts on both ends of the field. They did have one more opportunity late in the game, late in the first half, sorry. Hopino cuts 2 defenders, slices up a third one here, but can't slip it on the ground here. Ombi does a pretty good job of steering it on goal, but it ended 1-0 at halftime.
And here's a look at the statistics from the first half, which are brought to you by Liquor Barn. Now delivering. Download the Liquor Barn app or order online today at liquorbarn.com. And as you can see, it's just a relatively even match, but again, Tony, I mean, I think that Neil Collins has to be very pleased with the way that his team played. However, if you are going to play against a team of Louisville's caliber, if you are going to get into the postseason and make a deep run, one mental slip up on a set piece could be the difference, and it is thus far.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the possession here. Didn't feel like Louisville had more possession. That's probably because Tampa Bay is going long here, and Louisville's possession needs to be a little bit more in areas in the final third of the field to be effective if they're going to score more goals.
And as we are almost set for the second half, here's VisionWorks what to look for as we head into the second half of play. Tony Miola, what are we looking at?
I think for Louisville, it's pretty clear. You've got to deal with Malik Johnson down that right-hand side of the field. He's had his run of that entire channel, both in the attacking and the defending part of the field, and defensive transition for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. When the ball turns over, towards the end of the half, they started to get a little bit lazy retreating. That allowed Louisville to create a couple of opportunities.
And we are going to have a substitution at the half from Neil Collins, and it is going to be Lucky Kosana coming onto the scene and making an appearance against the side that he started the season with. 4 goals and 3 assists since coming over from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. His numbers have been a bit more fruitful than Antoine Openo's, but Openo has done a lot of things, maybe not particularly on the score sheet. And Neil Collins is hoping that maybe Lucky Kosana's presence alone can be enough to sort of mix things up and make Louisville City second-guess themselves.
Looks like he'll line up in Juan Tejada's position next to Guinzotti. He'll be more of a target player. These long balls over the top, he'll be able to deal with some of the center backs a little bit better than Tejada was able to in that first half.
And it looks like John Freeman is just about ready to go here at Slugger Field. One substitution used by either side thus far, and away we go in the second half. Paco Craig right now with what stands as the game winner. Tampa Bay Rowdies looking to get back into it on the road against the back-to-back champs. And we'll see what all plays out in the second 45 minutes. Tyler Terrence along with Tony Miola. Again, thank you so much for tuning in.
See some early pressure here by Tampa. I would imagine first 10 minutes of this half, Neil Collins will have them pressuring every ball, winning one here in the midfield again. This is how the game started for Tampa. They got away from it a bit.
Fernandez looking for Lucky Kosana, but his run was being made at the near post. Ball sails all the way towards the back. And Sean Francis will just dink it out of pressure. Haven't seen too much of the delivery that we're used to from Leo Fernandez, just as far as the quality is concerned. We've definitely seen a few, but I think that he would be one of the first to tell you that capable of a bit more.
Yeah, the quality needs to be a bit better. They have called his name 5 or 6 times with the opportunity to cross in dangerous areas of the field. So for Louisville, you'll have to deal. These 2 wide players from Tampa, Fernandez and Malik Johnson, they get really high up the field with those 5 in the midfield because they know they have enough cover in the midfield.
Osana just dinking it through, but Sebastian Guenzati unable to get there. How about Louisville City and their adjustment to the early substitution that they had to make due to Pat McMahon's injury?
Yeah, Sean Francis, he has the toughest job on the night, right? You don't start the game. You don't think you're coming in the 14th minute. And you do have a minute or two when the injury happens. Now you go in and you're playing against the guy that's really had his run of the game down that right-hand side. So it hasn't been an easy assignment.
And Kosana's back heel couldn't quite come off as Diakite make sure that Brian Omby doesn't pick up a cheap one. Poku looking for the Dartmouth grad.
I think in these 2 sides, the one thing we won't see is a change of style of play. We know Tampa's very direct. We know they like to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. We know John Hackworth likes his team to be a possession team, and they live and die with the tactics that they work on week in and week out. And John Hackworth did talk about how does he change compared to what they had to do against the Red Bulls too. And you know, the change is that pressure, that secondary pressure when the ball turns over. We know that's how Red Bull wants to play all through the organization. They don't have that here, but their challenge tonight is getting through those 5 in the midfield.
Back for Fernandez. Methodical here from Tampa Bay. Just out of the reach of Doherty in the middle of the field. Cleaned up by Tampa again. Steinberger lays it off. Poku. Woeful miscue.
Yeah,
actually so sharp.
That's a good build up by Tampa, and Poku just, I don't know if it popped up on him a bit. Not a good ball played wide. That was an easy pass.
We're seeing something similar to what we saw from Louisville in the first 20 minutes of the game or so, where Brian Omby is just stranded. As Kosana can't get there, Hubbard able to retrieve it. And we saw Louisville at their best when Brian Omby was joined by the likes of Antoine Openo and Nile Mccabe in making those runs, because again, it just takes the pressure off of Omby and Diakite.
You see maybe a difference here in forwards. Kosana, that ball over the top is more suited to him than it is to Tejada. He wants the ball at his feet. He wants to combine with players. More often than not, Kosana, he'll run, he'll check in, he'll run over the top.
Portion of tonight's game brought to you by Lumazul Tequila, official tequila of Lou City. A lot of contact both before and after the whistle. And this caught Oscar Jimenez with a little bit of a chicken wing there, and the free kick is going to be awarded to Tampa Bay.
Nicely done here again by Chris Hubbard. Not an easy ball here because you're lined up middle to front post here. Leo Fernandez puts his head down across this ball and he goes past the back post, backpedaling. You never really know what's coming behind you and when you're going to get hit. There were no runners that particular time. It was a tough ball for a goalkeeper to go back like that.
Ball the other way. Openo putting the pressure on, and Malik Johnson gets the last touch to it. Corner kick coming up.
good ball played out of the back by Jimenez. Diagonally to Hopino. We'll see if that's a theme that plays out. Maybe an adjustment that John Hackworth made, because as soon as Jimenez got it, he put his head down. Hopino was wide open on that far side of the field.
Louisville have already scored off one set piece tonight. Jimenez was able to create the play as McCarthy just spills that in front. Paco Craig on the floor, but getting a helping hand from a member of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. An awkward play in there.
Yeah, I wonder if John McCarthy kind of lost his way here as the ball came, because it didn't seem like there were any runners in the box other than one. A lot of yellow jerseys around, and he decided to punch this as Poku kind of undercuts Jimenez here. As this ball goes up in the air, Jimenez has eyes for the ball, and Poku comes, and see a bit of a hip check here. If he goes up and jumps for that ball, I don't think the referee makes a call there, but this is a dangerous area here for Louisville.
And Nile Mccabe, who has scored from distances well beyond this, is the #1 candidate. Trying to challenge McCarthy. 10 clean sheets on the season and put on a dazzling performance against Louisville. And these two sides played all the way back at the beginning of this season. And Tampa Bay started out the year 13 unbeaten in league play. It's like a 4-man wall for Tampa.
McCabe had a go at it from about 5 or 6 yards further out in the first half. No reason to think that he's not going to have a look now. As Jimenez thinks he can bend one into this near post.
It's McCabe, he goes for goal, and always going over the bar again. Didn't hit that nearly as well as he did the first, and that one even went over the bar. So McCabe still trying to calibrate here.
You did see as it passed the goal, though, it did have some dip on it. Didn't dip early enough. That was probably the shot he needed in the first half from that distance.
Louisville will keep it. Paco Craig. Rasmussen, relatively quiet tonight. Gives that ball away. You can see the frustration on Rasmussen's face.
There's been a few midfielders on both sides that have been quiet because the ball has really skipped the midfield quite a bit in this game so far. And a lot of the work that's been done is dealing with second balls. And good job here by Rasmussen picking one off.
Rasmussen threading it through, and a really important touch from Tarek Morad, but handled poorly by Tampa Bay, and a free corner kick coming up here for Louisville.
Well, we mentioned at halftime transition defending for Tampa Bay. They lose the ball here, and I'm not quite sure what McCarthy is doing here. Maybe he thought Hopino got the last touch on it. He was leaving it for a goal kick. Sure seemed like Tampa Bay was the last to touch, and of course the Louisville's awarded this corner kick here.
Jimenez will go short. Louisville trying to change the angle. Now in from Jimenez. Paco Craig was there, as is Brian Omby. Opino, a lot of time and space, delivers, threatening ball, and stabbed away by Tampa. Another corner coming up.
Well, this is a really crucial intervention here, and difficult for defenders trying to clear this one. This one hits Diakite on the way in. Wow. That easily could have ended up as an own goal.
John Hackworth barking instructions to Jimenez and Nile Mccabe.
At the moment, no runners in the box. No one on the goalkeeper for Louisville. Everyone's near the top of the box. Now you see Rasmussen.
Jimenez. Nodded away by Doherty. Francis clips one in. Angle too closely to McCarthy, though.
That's a better job by McCarthy cleanly there, going up with two attacking players. Always first to it.
Bad giveaway. Nile Mccabe going for glory. Only finding the Coopers.
McCabe going for goal of the week there with that one. Poor ball played out by McCarthy. The fans will let him have it. At least the worst thing is a goalkeeper when you spill one or you play a bad ball. Miscue one that's played back to you. You're going to hear it the rest of the game.
You ever been called like that?
How many times you should have asked me? Yeah. How many times have you been called?
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. I may or may not see it a few on YouTube.
There is a number, but I'm not going to tell you.
Is it north or south of the number that Pape Diakite is wearing?
No, it's a little bit south, thank God, of that number. It's good pressure here by Louisville. Yeah, turnover, another one. Good job by Poku getting out of it. Had good enough numbers around the ball.
Here comes Doherty. Sends it in, and Kosana is the defender. Puts it across, it pinballs around a little bit. And it's going to be a goal kick.
Well, we said M. Kosana would give you a different look. As a target player, he can run over the top. This time he gets a defender on his backside here. Greg goes down and he can't find anyone in the box, and it bounces off of a few Louisville defenders and eventually off of Zach Steinberger for a goal kick. But we're getting a different look up top right now for Tampa Bay. And M. Kosana and his ability to hold the ball up and, in this case, spin a defender.
Fernandez into the channel, and Guanzani's offside. Update for the North Carolina and Ottawa game. Sam Brotherton has equalized Tiago's goal from the opening 5 minutes. It's 1-1 over a Wake Med Soccer Park between Dave Sarakin and Nikola Popovic. Tony, we've seen much less involved Malik Johnson. So Louisville has heeded your words on that. Meanwhile, for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, still trying to put it together as Johnson right on cue, trying to battle his way through.
And I think they've gotten help from Opino on that left-hand side of the field, as well as Sosa now crashing in from the middle of the field to help out Sean Francis.
Louisville connecting the dots. Antoine Opino goes back for Brian Obi. Foot race with Quadro Poku.
What a great job by Poku tracking through the midfield. One of the most difficult things for midfielders to do is recognize when a forward player is making that run, because the expectation is you're going to run him into a center back at some point. He recovers, makes the steal, and eventually Obi fouls Poku.
Done from Francis, and they'll go all the way back for Hubbard. City fans can get their team merchandise, including the August scarf of the month, kits, hats, flags, and more at LouisvilleCityFC.com at any home game or at our permanent location on 4th Street Live. Sports some gear to support your team. Opino tried to just flick it up and over Tarek Morad.
And Morad ran back like he thought it was a Louisville throw. Opino certainly thought it was his, and The referee had different ideas here.
This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Game On Mouth Guards. Holmby brings it down. Rasmussen driving forward, nobody stepping to him just yet. Diakite tried to step, did he foul him? Yes, he did. Magnus Rasmussen putting the dance moves on and earns Louisville City a free kick in prime real estate.
And a little nutmeg here as he turns here. Good combination play in the middle of the field, and here you'll see Diakite spreads him open just a bit too wide and eventually fouls Rasmussen here. Fernandez and Rasmussen will have a conversation here about who's taking this one. You see McCabe on the last two. This one's going to need a little bit more caressing here up and over the wall.
Discussion being had. I always wondered what was going on between the players that were standing over the free kick.
Figuring out who the oldest player is here, and that's the one that has priority here.
Well, if we were going by that, it would be Nile Mccabe.
He'll dictate the play.
It'll be Rasmussen, little touch hit, takes a deflection, and that could have gone anywhere. Brandon McCarthy had already made his step.
Well worked play here. And someone running over the ball, and then McCabe pulls this one back. Fernandez runs over it. Rasmussen behind McCabe here. Good timing, good coordination, and a few jumpers in the wall there. Looked like it came off of Zach Steinberger's left foot.
Openo hovering right around John McCarthy in the penalty area. McCarthy punches it away.
Nicely done by McCarthy. Good timing, good punch. Gets height and distance on it.
And Kosana gives it away in a cheap area and just brushes Openo off the ball. Louisville City fans want a foul called.
This ball comes out here. Louisville initially does a good job of winning it, but Kosana tracking Openo. Did he get his arms up? Referee says no, and then it's a wrestling match before it comes off of McCabe. It's good work by Kosana. Made a difference here so far. Kosana, he's put a stamp on the game. Bit sloppy here. Fernandez receives this one, but I believe it was Guinzotti coming back. He was offside on the initial ball in.
Caleb Richards will be able to see this out of play. Visit LouCity.com to check out the virtual stadium tour. Scope out the view from every seat in brand new Lynn Family Stadium before calling 502-LOU-CITY to get your tickets. Bounces around a little bit. Guinzotti somehow comes away with it. Jimenez just touches it out of play.
So far, it's been a tough night for Guinzotti. He's had a lot of players around him. Obviously, he scores 16 goals. You're a focus of the defense. He's gotten balls in areas that really aren't producing many opportunities.
Fernandez. That's inside, but there were three purple jerseys surrounding him. Now Tampa Bay will try to play out of pressure. Doherty looks to try to switch the point of attack. Cut out by Sean Francis, only as far as Kosana. Doherty again. And now here comes Louisville after the Tampa Bay giveaway. About 25 minutes remaining. Paco Craig's goal in the 35th minute right now. The game winner. And it'll bring Louisville City that much closer to the likes of Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Indy 11, New York Rebels 2, and Nashville at the top of the Eastern Conference table. They'd be on 53, Pittsburgh on 56, Tampa Bay on 56, Indy 11 on 57.
It's getting tighter as the days go on here, right? Normally get to the end of the season and teams start separating each other. It's getting tight in the Eastern Conference.
Tampa did have an opportunity tonight to jump into first place with a win. Still have that opportunity with about 25 minutes left, but Nashville with their lead over Loudoun are in sole possession of first place, 1 point above New York Rebels 2.
Now how quickly Tampa can strike, especially for a team that goes direct. You know, you're not going to see a huge build-up more often than not. Win a ball in the final third of the field. They have so much quality in that attacking third. They can create a chance out of nothing, and some nights it doesn't always go your way for 90 minutes, but you find those moments in the game, and they've got enough quality to do so.
We're hearing that Jan Ekra is going to come on and replace Zach Steinberger at the next opportunity. Masoso got caught with it, but gets bailed out by the referee. Steinberger's not happy about it. Rather, it's Doherty. Will be on Ekra to come on for some fresh legs in the middle of the field. Neil Collins. Who'd better to bring on than the 28-year-old Ivorian. He's played for the likes of the Charlotte Independents, Harrisburg City. Actually spent some time with Hull City as well. Roommates with Karim Benzema over at Lyon, and has appeared for the French youth sides.
For Steinberger tonight, it was a difficult game. The ball was skipping him in the midfield. My guess is if you looked at the miles run tonight, it was probably as much as anybody on the field, but he didn't see much of the ball.
Drastic you can change if you're Neil Collins heading into the final 20 minutes of this game to search for an equalizer?
Well, I think they're playing in the mode that they like to play. They like to get the ball forward quickly. They're not a team that plays a whole bunch of balls short in the midfield. Poku is one of those guys that can clearly do it, but you can see a lot of standing around when midfielders get the ball. Almost void of ideas tonight in these areas of the field. And this man can do something 1v1. Kosana's been good holding up balls here. This is a good job of building up here.
Curled in, intended for Kosana, and he was asking for it. Paco Craig beats him to it. A little shake and a shimmy, but the shot again sent into the crowd. And Chris Hubbard, really for the most part, Tony, has not seen too much action in the shot department.
No, he hasn't. There's been more of the crossing variety where he's had to move his feet, go up in traffic, deal with balls in the air. He's done a very good job of that. Malik Johnson down that right-hand side. Credit to Louisville and John Hackworth coming out of the dressing room. They've done a much better job of crowding his space, taking him out of the game. Tampa's going to have to find some other solutions at the moment.
Kosana thumping header back for Kwadwo Poku. Now it's Malik Johnson. He's floated out of the game in the second half, but boy was he sharp in the first. Blows past Sean Francis. Johnson towards the end line and makes a mess out of the delivery, and you could see the frustration as he takes it on the advertisement stanchion.
Yeah, and Johnson doesn't come to the middle of the field as Masoso goes to help Francis here. So he goes down the line, and as you mentioned, blew by Francis, and then the quality in the end wasn't good. But you'll see Masoso coming over that left-hand side here. You see him at the top of your picture, and this needs to be a little bit better as there were runners, and you can see the frustration there. Probably more so that he hasn't been involved in this second half nearly as much as he was in the first half.
Only with a sloppy touch, very uncharacteristic from the veteran. And Kosana just lofts it towards the corner flag. Leo Fernandez will be able to get there. Poku sees a little bit of space, but straight at Hubbard.
Poku saw that space, as you mentioned, takes a touch forward, and he's trying to bend it around the corner to that far post. Easy for Hubbard. Louisville here in this moment of the game will get away from building out of the back, and just 2 or 3 now. Played long, played very long, right into McCarthy's hands here.
Luke Spencer getting set to come on for Louisville. Pressure again from Tampa Bay. Guenzotti pushed out wide. Johnson. First time delivery. It's a good one. Rasmussen first to it. Seconds fall for Fernandez. Overlapping run coming from Caleb Richards. Fernandez puts it across again, and Paco Craig is there again.
Good team defending by Louisville, crowding the box, dealing with Fernandez's ball across. Good clearance.
Those are the subtle little moments as Brian Ownby might find himself in some prime real estate here. Ownby now will take the shot. And that's a slow roller that McCarthy can handle.
And no runners in front of him. No runners in advance of him. The ball gets played forward. Ownby does a good job here of holding it up with Diakite. It's a pretty good look at goal, but he is going away from goal. Can't get any power on it.
Luke Spencer going to come on for Rasmussen.
It's sort of been the night for Ownby, finding himself solo with center backs all over him.
Johnson going to work again. This time Rasmussen gets a touch to it before it could become too menacing for the home side.
Yeah, they've crowded Johnson this entire second half. Tampa may find better success.
Ownby takes it away. He's called for the foul. John Hackworth can't believe it. Ownby in disbelief.
Ownby can't believe it. Yeah, he's not happy with this one. He thought he picked him clean here. He's going to have a word with the referee. Everybody, including John Hackworth, a little bit surprised here as we take a look. This ball runs away from Richards. He sticks a left leg in. Imagination could be calling it from with the hip here as he picks this one off. I think a lazy play by Richards here, the center back, not recognizing the danger, and he gets bailed out by the referee.
And the look on Richards' face says it all. I mean, it was pure relief after he gave that away. And now Fernandez is fouled. And it wasn't the assistant referee who made the call, it was the head referee. Assistant referee kept his flag down.
Dangerous opportunity here will come up after the substitution for Tampa Bay as Fernandez draws a foul here.
The substitution brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Thoughts on Rasmussen's performance tonight?
It was, again, a tough night for another midfielder. He didn't call his name all that much. There was the play where he slipped it through Diakite's legs, drew the foul at the top of the box. It was more about the dirty work. And I think John Hackworth will be happy with him for the effort that he put in.
So Fernandez on top of the set piece. It's sort of like a makeshift corner, the angle that it's on.
There's a lot of space. You see Poku all by himself, but he's not going to make a run. He's kind of holding a line here. There's a lot of space behind that Louisville defense.
Fernandez, great ball in, the header straight at Hubbard. They were looking for an offside flag.
It's a Exactly what I was talking about here. Difficult line here for Louisville, very high from this area. And look at all that space in behind, and Morad gets on the end of it, but he was free. It's not a look you want if you're Louisville right now.
Collins in danger again of trading results. That seems to be the theme over the past 5 or 6 games or so.
There's still a lot of time in this game left for Tampa, obviously.
Eckler splits the double team. Pushes it out wide. First time delivery, and it's Malik Johnson who has just been woeful in that department tonight. Everything else, he's been absolutely magnificent.
There's a bit of frustration for Malik Johnson in the second half. As you mentioned, the crossing part of the game hasn't been great for him, especially this last couple of minutes. But he's offered so much to the game. He's been so dangerous throughout. But again, credit to Louisville. They've kind of negated the dribble, at least in the second half of this one.
Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Dr. Mark and Linden Associates VisionWorks Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 15 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/LouCity.
Just a little more pressure here from Tampa.
That pressure almost paid off. Lucky Kosana beating Paco Craig to the ball. In for Poku. Wants to link up with Kosana. That's a good switch for Fernandez. He lines it up, sizing up Omby, has it on his right peg now, just dinks it in. Not his best delivery. And Luke Spencer will now try to hold up play for Lou City. And he does so beautifully.
Well done here by Luke Spencer.
And the savvy fans here at Slugger certainly appreciate the sleek possession that was held by Spencer. And now Tampa Bay on the other end, Caleb Richards. Little stutter step looking for an option. Takes a nice deflection. Speedy Williams in defense. Richards into the penalty area. A touch around him. Kosana might be able to get there, but Hubbard read it the entire way.
This play started up the field as the ball turned over. Omby now, who's playing on this right-hand side of the field, did not track back, and then eventually Speedy Williams has to come out to the left, and boy, a tough touch there by Guinzotti.
Spencer pushes it along. Omby onside, and a great save from McCarthy. Luke Spencer now. Masoso into the area. Napa Masoso waltzes his way through, and Napa Masoso has done it again. 4 goals in 3 games for a man who could have bought a goal at the beginning of the season, and he has been their main man. Louisville 2, Tampa Bay 0.
He absolutely has been the main man here the last couple of games for Louisville, but this play is made by the substitute, Luke Spencer. First, the initial ball played into Omby that eventually comes back to him. You think he's going to take a shot, and as the defenders shift, he cuts this one back to Matsoso here, and this is the end result of the play. Luke Spencer with that ball played right in, and then the dribble around Diakite and the little slip past John McCarthy to make it 2-0 Louisville. Matsoso will get the credit for the goal, but Luke Spencer made this entire play.
That goal brought to you by Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. Kentucky Lottery. Napo Masoso. It was funny talking to John Hackworth as we're going to have a substitution from the Rowdies. John Hackworth saying that at Kentucky, where he played his college ball, he was deemed the most offensive player in Wildcat men's soccer history. And they always joke in the Louisville dressing room that, well, they didn't really see that from Napa Masoso when he came over to Lou City, but now it's just coming off in every shape and form as Sean Barrett comes on and replaces Leo Fernandez in the substitution brought to you by MHS Global.
And he certainly picked his opportunity here because he hasn't had very many moments in the final third of the field here. And as this ball was held up, he saw a bit of space, made the run, made the initial move. And boy, did he look comfortable in front of goal. He looked like a guy who'd been there in the past. Nifty little finish, nothing John McCarthy could do.
So now Tampa Bay find themselves in a 2-goal hole on the road against the back-to-back champs who have been scorching hot over the past few weeks. Louisville on their way to 9 unbeaten.
Still some work to do here for John Hackworth and Louisville. I'm sure they'll want to see this one out with a clean sheet, but in the end, the 3 points are the most important thing.
Antoine Opino tries the nutmeg, doesn't come off though. And this portion of tonight's broadcast brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Craig scuffed that pass, but it ends up working out incredibly well. Brian Obi finding a ton of space again. Obi lines up the shot and ends up pulling it wide.
Good job at tracking back here by Caleb Richards, but he was caught in the midfield. Obi found a bit of space and the ball was played into him here. And he has a look at goal. Speedy Williams, good way to that pass. Good recovery by Caleb Richards. Tactical change here is Malik Johnson's on this left-hand side of the field. Sean Berry will go. The substitute will go over that right-hand side. Maybe Malik Johnson will find a bit more success in this second half down this left flank than he did in the right side of the field throughout this last portion of the game.
Diakite, a really heavy touch. Showed way too much of it to Brian Obi.
It's been a really patient performance by Louisville. They've picked their opportunities. Early in this game, they couldn't find a rhythm. They couldn't find any passes through the midfield. Tampa had done a very good job of crowding the midfield, closing spaces, closing lanes. As the game has opened up, I think you see the possession style from John Hackworth's side take over a bit as Opino draws another foul. That'll be a second one.
And it is a second yellow card for Jordan Doherty. And things just go from bad to worse at Slugger Field for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
And this is a tough one here because I don't think there's much in it if you're Doherty as he's recovering here. You see here, and he's poking at the ball. You can see why he's upset with this one. It's a tough one on Doherty.
That red car brought to you by Four Roses Bourbon.
I don't know if it's as much for the foul as it is for the attacking player turning and looking at goal and having a run at goal, because there wasn't a lot in the foul. Nor has it been a chippy game in that regard where the referee now is going to start dishing out cards. Either way, I think Doherty will feel like he's hard done.
Now Tampa Bay, will finish the game with 10 men. And Doherty will be unavailable for the Rowdies' next match. And that is going to be at Loudoun United. As McCabe curls one in, it takes a deflection off of Sean Tosh. He didn't know a lot about that one.
Sean Tosh got kind of caught in two minds, looking for that ball played to his head. Ends up at his feet.
Fans, tonight's attendance presented by Hometown Pizza is a season high of 10,630.
Final attendance just announced. More than 10,600 on hand for this one between two of the best of the Eastern Conference.
Between Paco Craig and Sean Tosh, they've dealt with every ball played in the box.
Malik Johnson, who's floated over to the left-hand side, working on Jimenez. Again, so shifty. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. And Malik Johnson turns nothing into something, wins the penalty.
You see here, Malik Johnson on this left-hand side. We said, can he make an impact with this tactical switch? He gets in the box. The defender doesn't want to see him cross that line, and Jimenez sticks out a leg. Malik Johnson draws the penalty kick. And Tampa will have an opportunity with Guinzotti to pull one back here.
Guinzotti 16 on the year. Chris Hubbard standing in between the sticks awaits. Sebastian Guinzotti to pull at least one back for the Rowdies. And he does just that. Hubbard got a massive paw to it, but it doesn't matter. It's in. And it's a one-goal game with about 4 minutes remaining.
Boy, Hubbard makes a good go at this one here, and you said a massive chunk of this one ended up on his left hand. Well, this is a good job by Hubbard. It's a bit above him. He goes low. If he goes mid-range, he probably makes that play. Nonetheless, it ends up in the back of the net. Tampa Bay is right back in this one.
Now things getting a little bit more nervy for the back-to-back champs headed down the stretch of this one. That foul was after the ball had already gone as John Freeman blows it dead, and a free kick coming up for Lou City, who I'm sure are going to engage in all sorts of gamesmanship now, as Paolo Del Piccolo is getting set to come on in his road back to match fitness.
What this does is give John Hackworth a little bit more experience on the field, managing these late game moments.
Spencer, defender on his back. McCabe around the bend. Positive first touch, and a little bit too positive. And Quadro Poco actually kept that in play. That's well done. But Guinzotti doesn't do his teammate any favors. Sean Francis keeps it in dangerous area and keeps possession, more importantly, for Lou City. Tosh gives it away. All it takes is one chance for Neil Collins' group. Caleb Richards. Poku back for Ekra. Good football here from Tampa Bay.
It's a very nice job here by Tampa.
Ball in, M. Kosana, and it's in for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Lucky M. Kosana. Back to Slugger Field, onto the score sheet, and a 10-man Tampa Bay Rowdies have erased the 2-goal deficit at the home of the back-to-back champs. Would you believe it?
And this was made far too easy for Tampa to knock the ball through the midfield. Louisville deep at the top of their box. Ball is played in. Lucky M. Kosana beats the defender. Paco Craig about a yard off of M. Kosana, and he buries it to the near post. Hubbard made a good go at it. Credit to Tampa Bay, down a man here late, showing signs of a side that's looking to finish at the top of the Eastern Conference and make a run at a USL championship. When you get results like this on the road, Tyler, this is the type of thing that builds character, that builds confidence, builds trust in your side. Now can they see it out here?
Well, now it's going to be Abdou Jam coming on. It was a much more defensive substitution that was about to be made for John Hackworth, but as soon as the goal goes in, and we're just going to have 3 minutes of stoppage time as Abdou Jam awaits to come on. And when Louisville City FC made that trade for Antoine Opino back on June 28th, I don't think that they could have even imagined Lucky M. Kosana hurting them in the way that they've done here.
Well, we talked about M. Kosana for Tampa Bay coming in, making an impact. He does so getting on the end of a header here. Opino had a pretty good night. John will have the responsibility here of trying to create one or two opportunities for Louisville late in this one.
Substitution brought to you by MHS Global Above and Beyond. Stoppage time 3 minutes, brought to you by Sullivan University. And Tampa Bay might just be looking to go for all 3 points here. Why not? Scoring 2 goals down a man. Poku trying to bully his way through. Jan Ekra almost got there. And the crowd growing restless here at Slugger. They thought they had it in the bag. And Kosana gets it away for Poku. Turns out of trouble. In for Kosana. He's the hero for Tampa Bay on the night. Driving towards the byline, puts it across, and Hubbard wisely lets it go. It will be a throw-in for Lou City, as Tampa Bay will try to pin them in their own end.
Kosana's made a difference here for Tampa Bay.
Spencer brings it down. Can Louisville City rescue these 3 points that they have more than squandered away? Masoso, Nile Mccabe, overlapping run from Francis, cuts it back on his left peg, still looking for an avenue, and finally cleared away by Malik Johnson. It was good defending from Tampa Bay, as they did not allow any Louisville City player in the penalty area any breathing room.
Maybe one too many cuts from Francis.
Bent in, difficult to handle. Speedy Williams trying to get there. Maybe one last chance here for Louisville. Speedy Williams threads it through. Oscar Jimenez can't keep the delivery in play. And that might just do it.
What a great fight back here from Tampa Bay. Again, I go back to when you're on the road and you find results in the end of the game. This is what builds your team as you move closer and closer to the playoffs. These are moments that you can kind of, if you go down in another game later on, you kind of pull from these type of games. And what you did here,
and the referee is not going to call the game yet, but he is going to go all the way back to McCarthy.
Well, McCarthy pushed this ball outside the 6-yard box to take this goal kick. That's what he's getting a yellow card for.
This could very well be the last kick of the game now. Quinzani desperately lunges for it. Sean Tosh playing with fire. Jan Ekra with the pressure. Neil Collins barking for the whistle to go. They'll most certainly take a point. Abdul-Jam, was he fouled? Yes, he was. And this is well within the range of Nile Mccabe and company.
Well, this ball gets knocked down. Poku trying to win a second ball here. Jam gets his body in between Poku and the ball. Poku runs him over from behind here. Well, this will make for an interesting finish. This might be the last kick of the ball here.
What a bizarre night it has been in Louisville. The back-to-back champs get the opening goal in the 35th minute through Paco Craig. A solid tactical performance from both sides. Louisville get an insurance goal from Napa Masoso. Doherty gets sent off. Tampa Bay Rowdies scored 2 goals in a matter of 10 minutes, and now a free kick from about 25 yards out. And perhaps Louisville can rescue the night yet. Fernandez and Mccabe over the ball, as it has been the entire night. It's a 5-man wall for Tampa Bay and for John McCarthy. It's Oscar Jimenez, and it's wide.
He's always bending wide here.
And that's going to do it full time. What an incredible comeback from the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Nile Mccabe. They come from behind 2 goals in the final 10 minutes of the match, down a man no less. And Louisville City FC, who thought they had all 3 points in the bag and on their way to another impressive win, dropped 2 points and 2 crucial points in their hopes of a home match in the quarterfinals. Paco Craig is tonight's man of the match, presented by VisionWorks.
Yeah, Paco Craig was good the entire night. Did get the opening goal in the 35th minute, a header at the back post. But he dealt with numerous aerial balls. He was organized in the back. He and Santosh had a great night together. In the end, I think Tampa Bay will feel like they've won points here, and Louisville will feel like they dropped a few at home. This will feel more like a loss than it will like picking up a point for Louisville.
Well, it's a point apiece, and it is an emotional point apiece on either side of the spectrum. We'll be back in a moment to put a bow on it.
At Dr. Mark Leonard Associates, I focus on taking care of my family, but I also focus on taking care of your family. We firmly believe that you've got to give back. Our primary goal is to do what's right for the patient. If that means glasses, contacts, or treating an eye condition, we will be sure you get the care that you need. We want to take care of you the same way we take care of all our family. This is our family. And here at Dr. Mark Linden Associates, we're focused on your family, the community, and most importantly, your vision.
For the past 42 years, and with over 28 million sold, more people have put their hard-earned money on a Ford F-Series truck than any other pickup in America. Yeah, I'd say that's money well spent. It's Ford Truck Month, America. Time to join the stampede.
Now during Truck Month, get 0 for 72 months plus $1,000 trade assist on a new F-150 when trading in an eligible vehicle.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. For all your car's Big O no's, there's always a Big O yes. Save $100 on sets of 4 Big O brand tires, plus get $50 by mail-in rebate on purchases of $500 or more when using the Big O credit card.
911, what's your emergency?
Send everything you have.
I became a profiler to hunt down people like my father.
The series premiere of Prodigal Son.
My boy, there's so much more I can teach you about murder.
But first, 911 returns.
Help is on the way.
What a thrill.
Starts Monday at 8 on WDRB.
Hope everyone had a moment to take a deep breath after this one. 3 goals in the second half, 2 of them coming from Tampa Bay in the final 10 minutes, and one of them, the big one, the equalizer, coming from that man who was traded away at the end of June, straight up for Antoine Opano. That made it 2-2. Tyler Terrence along with Tony Miola. We'll take a look at how it all went down. And Tony, this was such a strange night between 2 great teams. But 35th minute, we get the scoring started. Paco Craig. Kosana is the hero for Neil Collins' side. And we'll take a look at the final stats, which are delivered by Liquor Barn. Now delivering. Download the Liquor Barn app or order online today at liquorbarn.com. Tony, anything stand out to you here?
Well, the possession evened out here. The shots on goal for Louisville, they did a good job in the second half, but eventually, as I said, in coming out of this game here, I think Louisville will feel like this is more of a loss than it is a point picked up at home. Tampa Bay will feel like this is more of a win than a draw on the road. They showed some real grit, some real fight, some real heart to come back and draw this one in the end.
Yeah, let's take a look at tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. And Magnus Rasmussen was only going one place, and that was between the legs of Pape Diakite.
Yeah, nifty little move to draw the free kick at the top of the box. Diakite spreads him open just a bit too wide here, and Rasmussen, that was sweet.
Well, for Louisville City FC, a night that they most likely are going to want to forget. But keep in mind that Sacramento Republic and El Paso Locomotive are going to be duking it out tonight, 10:30 Eastern time on ESPN Plus, as Thomasina Voltson, Cami Wassa, and the Quails take on Sebastian Velasquez, Mark Lowry, and El Paso Locomotive. As Tony said, and it is oh so true, Louisville City FC will feel like they dropped 2 points. Tampa Bay Rowdies will feel like they won 2 points back after a calamity from Louisville City in the final 10 minutes. It finishes 2-2 here between two sides that I have an odd feeling we'll see each other down the stretch and perhaps even in the postseason. For our entire crew and Tony Miola, Tyler Terrence saying so long for now. The final score in Louisville, Lou City 2, Tampa Bay Rowdies 2. We'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Toyota's national clearance event is on. It's time to save on the last of the 2019s. Congratulations. Congrats.
Lease an adventurous new 2019 RAV4 for $199 a month, or choose $1,250 finance cash, or get $3,000 cash back on the built-in the USA Highlander.
How long should we do this?
Well, the event doesn't end until September 3rd.
Toyota, let's go places.
For some, it's skydiving. For others, it's a really close game. But what gets our blood pumping? At Baptist Health, it's pioneering new treatments for heart disease, equipping our expert team with the latest technology, and developing techniques that improve heart attack survival rates. At Baptist Health, we push ourselves to provide exceptional heart care for one reason, so you can keep enjoying the things that get your blood pumping.